I make it to my apartment door to get it shut just in time to keep him from coming in and bothering Anina and myself. Usually it's Saturday, so his weekly routine is he'll go and stay at his apartment in 57th Street and Park Avenue, the Galleria building in Manhattan. He likes to stay there on Saturday because after 7 o'clock, parking is free and it's not charged on Monday. He's not charged on Sunday, and he'll collect whatever mail that he has coming there. So he's buzzing my bell, and so I just go down there to move my car. I'm hoping that I can, just not have any conflict with him. He just leaves, but that would be too simple for George, of course. So when I get there, he starts yelling at me that I'm a drug dealer, and this is just insane. I mean, this is the pot calling the kettle black. This guy, I'm not saying I've been a saint. You're going to find out later on in a lot of my stories. I did, in fact, sell drugs for 3 years of my life. Back in '97, it started then. But enough about that. But again, I'm no saint. But I was nowhere near to being anywhere close to what the level of what my father was as a drug dealer. So the fact that he's going to say this to me, especially now when I do nothing but work for a living and I'm just coming home from work, is just insane. It's ludicrous. We're on this crazy stuff again, like I'm harboring a terrorist. So I just confront him. I'm like, well, what, you work for the DEA now? First you were all with Homeland Security. I'm harboring a terrorist, and now I'm a drug dealer. Can you not make up your mind? And I just tell him again, you need therapy and you need to be put on meds. You are going insane. And he just goes to attack me. He's slowly coming at me. And I can tell from the demeanor that he has on him. I could look at him like, are you attacking me? He just smiles and says, yes, it's insane. Now, at the time, he had my car's parked in front of the driveway. He has the gates open. The neighbors have all of their trash out for pickup, so the gate is closed up all the way up to the trash, and there's no way out there. And between my car and the fence, there's no way out on the other side. So I'm basically boxed in. I can't just walk away from him, and he's right at, I'm just pushing back at him, and just keeping him at bay. He's short. He doesn't have any of my reach. He's very easy to subdue. But he just keeps coming at me, because I'm just softly just pushing him off. And, and the whole time, I'm like, what are you doing? What are you doing? I just put my hands down on my side. I'm like, come on. And he gets his hands on the back of my neck and breaks the skin. And I can tell he's got no intentions of letting up. He's just going to be insane. If I just let him do what he wants, I will get hurt. So I just grab him by his lapels. I knock him off balance real good so he can't get his feet from back underneath him. And I put him against my car gently, and I bring him down. I take one arm, put it over the other arm, and hold him roughly around at his shoulders to keep him down and subdued. You control the head, you control the body. And so he can't get up. I've got him subdued. I just let him know. I'm like, hey, if you stop attacking me, I'll let you back up. So he agreed to stop attacking me. I let him back up. His hat fell off of his head during this process. I pick up his hat and I hand it to him. And, excuse me, I go to my phone and I preemptively call the police because I know that's exactly what he's going to do. He staged this whole thing and he was hoping that I would assault him and attack him and give him some marks. But I kept my cool. I didn't assault him. He had no marks to speak of because I never touched him other than subduing him and putting him in my car to keep him from attacking me. I had that scratch on the back of my neck. I finally got away from him after I was on the phone with the police, and he was on the phone with police, so he's busy talking with them. I drove my car away, parked it. When I came back to the house, I let the 911 operator know that I was going to go upstairs and wait for the police to arrive on the scene. I didn't want to be out there the whole time with him. So when the police show up on the scene, he's already talking with them for a little bit. I come outside. Nina comes with me. And he's speaking with one officer, and I'm speaking with the other. And, he's basically just asking what happened. I said, he's got a diminished mental capacity. He's been talking for a few days now that I'm harboring a terrorist and he's going to call Homeland Security, and he's speaking about this young lady right here. So the officer asked where she's from. And he lets you know that, she's from Europe. And he's like, well, he's about 60 years late on that whole terrorist theme because we haven't had Second World Wars over 60 years. And we just admitted to the absurdity that he's saying these crazy things. And during this time, while I'm talking with that officer, he's in an EMS truck, and I see him go into his wallet, and he hands the cop a PBA card. Now, for those of you that don't know what a PBA card, it's something that an officer in New York will give to a friend of his or a family member. And if you get pulled over and you show a New York officer this PBA card, you get away with a great deal of things. I mean, yeah, it's insane, and I've witnessed it. Not only this time right here, but times before this. I had a friend, Andrew, and we'll give a story sometime on the crazy stuff that he did. And the cops were just telling me, hey, your buddy's going to go to jail. You want to get all your things out of that car. And when I told that to Andrew, he just like, no problem, no worries. Because he already knew it was going to happen as soon as he whipped that PBA card that he had out of his wallet. Well, with that said, the PBA card that George has is from the captain of the 72nd Precinct. Now, this is the boss of all of those people that are there from the 72nd Precinct. Because any call that's made from my address, that's the precinct that's going to come to the call. So now this guy's a friend and has got a PBA card from the captain himself. So as soon as he sees that, he just hands it back to George. I see him come out of the truck, and he's like, okay, put him under arrest. He hit him. And that's it. I'm under arrest, and the cops are putting the cuffs on me. Anina looks at the situation. She's flabbergasted. She's like, you go to jail for this? Because she saw everything. She knew I didn't do anything. And, I just looked at her. I said, welcome to America. And that's it. I'm under arrest. At the time, the arrest was going to be inevitable for me because I knew there was a warrant out for a DUI that they alleged that I did a couple of years prior. Now, I was pulled over at a roadside evaluation. I haven't been drinking at all. But they arrested me with DUI before they even ever gave me any sobriety test. There was actually no sobriety test on the scene. I had a sobriety test at the precinct after I was already under arrest and at the precinct for DUI. And then I did a sobriety test, and I blew 0 on my breathalyzer. So they asked me to piss into a jar. I smoke weed. There's no way I'm going to give them evidence against me. And they had no evidence that I was driving impaired at all. So that would just be giving him evidence. So I didn't piss in the jar at all. And during that case, there's a lot of stuff that was going on. I had to go see a psychiatrist to get an evaluation that if I was an addict or not. And it proved that I was not an addict. And, the public pretender that I had on the case at the time says that 90% of the people that go to the psychiatrist always get saying that they're an addict. But I just went there, told the truth, and that's it. I'm not an addict. So I don't know why. Maybe 90% of the people, 90% of the people that do go there are addicts, or they just answer the questions the wrong way. All I know is I don't abuse substances. I enjoy weed a lot. The only abuse would be wasting it. Nice. So, but that was no big deal. The only reason that I had the warrant for my arrest is because I was going to court and fighting the cases. I was going to court and fighting the charges, but it takes so long, and I ran out of work, and I was leaving the city, and I'm not going to stay here just because of this damn case. And I left. I moved to Ohio at the time. And I was gone for roughly around a year between Ohio, which it got way too cold for me over there, and so I moved to Florida. And work was okay, but work got a little bit slow, and I went back to Ohio for this job to start with the union of a casino, but it never did start. And when I so now I'm going into jail, and it's going to be a bigger can of worms, because not only is this, this bench warrant that I had to deal with, which would have been nothing more than $1,000 bail, and I'm out, but now there's whatever charge that they're going to put on me, and I don't know what it's going to be, because I don't have any of the paperwork or anything, and I don't really see anything until I'm arraigned. And even after I'm arraigned, I still don't really see any documentation of the evidence that they have that they're using against me for the case, the discovery, which is incredibly important. So there it is. Now I'm in Rikers Island, OBCC, also known as Oh Boy, and I'm in 6 Upper. It's considered like the hottest house on the island, and there's 12 separate jails there on that island. And this particular house that I'm in is where everyone is waiting to do 25 to life. The people I was sleeping next to are in there for murder, attempted murder, robbing a bank, kidnapping a family, for example. It was all very serious charges. And my charge was scratch with minor bleeding. Scratch with minor bleeding. And I'm sleeping next to someone who's in there for kidnapping a family and holding them hostage. Yeah. Something about that didn't seem real all that right. But I think they did that all pretty much as a scare tactic to try to get me to cop out to a plea. But that's a large group of people that have to get involved in that, because that's not only the arresting officer that's trumping up charges on me, that's the DOC hiring, giving me a higher classification that would put me into a house like that. I have no charges or anything that would classify me to be in a house like that with, people that are in there for those type of serious charges. So that's insane. And they do have separate classifications. It's not like everyone just goes into one house and it's a melting pot of your crime. You're in there by the type of severity of the crime that you've done. And I'm in there with the people that are in there of the most severe crimes. And on top of that, I'm the only person with light skin. Everyone in there is either black or Hispanic. That's it. And then me. And when I come back to you guys next week, I'll start getting into my experience on Rikers Island and giving you an in-depth look at my perspective of how things are in there. And we're going to be talking about Rikers Island for a couple of episodes, and also the things that I learned with criminal charges and the criminal justice system, which I was incredibly clueless a lot before all of this happened, but I had no reason really to immerse myself or educate myself on the laws or the procedures, because I wasn't going through them. And it took a few months for me to realize that Daniela Freeman, who I'll be talking about, which was my first public pretender, who did not have my interest in mind, did not have my best interest in mind. I could have gotten the same service from a well-trained parrot that just repeats what the other person says, because that's all she did was repeat what the offer is from the prosecution. Oh yeah, and also try to sell it to me. It's just the criminal justice system needs to be renamed, because justice has nothing to do with what goes on in our American criminal justice system.